And we are live.
What it do? What it do? What it do? Now it's my time to shine. It's Monday, y'all. Hey, Jezebel, I gotta tell y'all, I was excited about Monday until I saw Uncle Snoop's Instagram post about his Father's Day.
Well, I missed it. What happened?
Well, apparently, since how y'all in America, and I'm gonna say y'all because you are a part of the female race who helps spread the awareness for, let's say holidays. Let's say holidays. Let's just say it is the females are the planners. Can we agree that the females are the ones who make sure the parties are lit, make sure everyone knows what's going on. They probably keep in touch with all the bullets and stuff, right?
Hmm.
So somewhere along the line, I think someone forgot to tell Snoop's kids, along with my kids, that maybe Father's Day is a real thing. Now, I understand that Kamala confused everyone by making Juneteenth right when she did, and it just happened to fall on the weekend right before Father's Day. But now, come on now, where was the commercials at? Why did Snoop only get some candy and an open bag of chips for
There was
Father's
no
Day?
commercials. I seen all of the commercials.
Why
All of
was
the
Snoop?
Father's Day
Why was
sales.
Uncle Snoop only given a bag of old chips and open candy?
I mean,
Now, is that like now? So, is it safe to say because on Mother's Day we know I don't even know if a mother's I don't even know if the question is if she has to be a good mother or a bad mother is even in question on Mother's Day.
I know a good mother that her kids didn't even wish her Mother's Day.
What?
Great mother. I mean, I'm talking about single mom. Like, I know she a good mom because I be around her, and yeah, her kids even they're. I guess it's the generation now, and they just desensitized a little bit to these holidays.
Well, no, because Mother's Day they knew. Hey, Mother's Day was real live, like popping.
You don't
Everybody
think
should have been.
Father's Day was popping?
So I don't know. For me, this was the. I was talking to my father, right? And I said, "Yo, pops, how was your Father's Day?" And he was breaking down how this was really like his first Father's Day, where he felt like it was great, right? So I asked him a question. I said, "Do you feel like this was the first Father's Day that was kind of like earned, right?" So
Uh-huh.
now it's interesting because I think us as fathers, a lot of us, we can self acknowledge where we are as far as being fathers, right? I mean, I
Mhm.
got 5 kids, and I know what my status is to each and every one of them, right? So it's like moms kind of don't, in my opinion, moms don't correlate with their statuses with their kids. It's always that's my baby. No, that's my friend. No, they tell me everything. You know what I'm saying? Dad be like, nah, they'll tell me. I know the line. I know somebody did something. We correlate our status. Like I know that little nigga don't like me. It's like, hey,
I think it's the same. It goes the same both ways. You gotta remember, I was raised by my dad. I mean, I did wish my mom happy Mother's Day, but it's not like growing up. It ain't like how I did my dad though. I'm going out. I'm getting him the cologne. Like I'm getting him like some New Balances. Like I'm going all out on Mother's Day. I might just get her some flowers or something. like
listen,
her
now
birthday,
if
I go all out. But it depends. I think it also depends on who's more. I ain't gonna say who's more dominant in the household, but that's really what it is. Who spends the most time doing all of the little stuff.
yeah, and like that is like see, and my in a two parent household that is so weird
Yeah.
It's even like
This
it's like
this is the same.
if me and my wife don't file taxes together, we don't reap the benefits of being married in America, really, right? So it's like, damn. Even now, you know what I'm saying, with this damn stimmy checks and shit coming out, right? Pretty much all the moms are gonna get one, you know. And I asked my wife, I said, what about the dads? Why do they just assume that?
That they're and you know what and you know what I definitely have a problem with that that they just act like they're not absent when there's so many present fathers out there. Um I'm very sensitive to Father's Day. So I don't think it's fair at all to men because there's some men who are the mothers in a home and should be celebrated on Mother's and Father's Day, and there are some men that put in just as much work as the mother and deserve to be appreciated.
Man,
Facts.
listen, like I'm not gonna lie to you. When I woke up yesterday, I was cool. I already knew what the deal was. I knew what was happening for me. I knew what my plans were, right? The itinerary. So I woke up and I had a great morning. Then I had a great afternoon. And I had a great night. And I went to sleep. And then I woke up and I saw Snoop Dogg, Uncle Snoop, got a bag of chips. And I started scrolling through and seeing what all the other fathers got. I posted a post and I asked, the fathers how was their weekend and what did they, did they enjoy themselves and whatnot. And a few fathers responded. Some enjoyed their weekends and some said it was the same old usual routine, like a regular day, which really kind of bothered me a little bit. Now I'm not gonna say that my Father's Day was bad because this is actually probably the best Father's Day that I've had in years, probably ever. Right now, everybody knows I'm not gonna be a shy guy about it, but this is my first Father's Day with some money. This is my first Father's Day not broke, right? So it was pretty interesting. It was an interesting perspective being on the other side of the spectrum, right? Because like my son, he got up and I woke up and there was some cash out. He cashed out me some money. So I was like, wow, okay, I must be doing something right. Then my other two sons, shortly after their text messages started coming in, they don't have Cash App yet 'cause they're young, but their text messages started coming in. Love you, Dad. Great, Dad. Now that was great because like I said, this is the first year that I ever received those. You know, now my kids are currently away for the summer, so that was even more lit. To wake up with no kids, well, my baby girl is here, but that's not really big deal. But to wake up with no kids, text messages, and a cash out for one, awesome, right? Awesome day. Then I got me a nice little steak. So I had a good day, guys. You know what I'm saying? I can't complain.
I was gonna ask, what would be an ideal Father's Day? Like, do guys anticipate what they might get? Like how women are on Valentine's Day or on Mother's Day, they like he better get me. Like, do
So
guys
like,
feel that way sometimes? And what holiday makes you feel that way?
what's crazy is this. I believe that every guy looks at Father's Day and just expects a break from being the norm, right?
Okay.
Because I mean, real dads. I'm not gonna talk about all dads, but real dads are the emergency route runner. The fixer upper, the picker upper, the make sure everybody's cool. He may miss his favorite show for everybody else's shows. He may not get a chance to watch his movie first. Everyone else gets their movie that day. He's always going to get the biggest piece of food made. I mean, every dad should be sitting at the table, what I'm saying, and getting a big piece of chicken. But it may be his favorite meal that night. You know what I'm saying? So most guys really just, I think, really just want the acknowledgement from your sons and your family. You know what I'm saying, that you're a good dad, and a day off, like a day where I don't have to worry about whatever I want to do is okay, right? Now, Mother's Day, I do believe is a day that is made to shower your mom with gifts, you know. But I really think that most men are get up and go get it. You know, I mean, it would be cool on Father's Day. Maybe if your husband or father is into cars, maybe get him some rims. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if buying him a new car for Father's Day is the thing to do, but give him some nice rims or something like that. If you can afford a new car, get him a new car. But the holiday that always does it for me now is Christmas, right? Because I always grew up without a Christmas.
Mm.
So when I started having kids, it was like, hey, you know, now, when you that kid that grow up around all your fucking cousins and
Mm.
all your neighborhood, you're popular, so you go. So when it's Christmas Day, I was the kid that was I'm popular enough to go to everyone's house,
Yeah.
right? So I was out early while they were opening up gifts, and I was the one like, damn it, I didn't get anything. So I just watched them open their gifts and hope they would let me play with one of their toys or whatever they
Mm.
got at the time. By the time I hit 14, it was like big deal. But then when I
Yeah.
started having kids, it was like, wow, you know what I'm saying? So now Christmas is like that holiday that really does it for me, like that. Like other than that, mm,
Well,
Thanksgiving used to be good.
we just received a new holiday. Let's talk about that. Um, Juneteenth. Okay.
Now, I'm curious as to this holiday because apparently it's been since 1865 that it's been allegedly a thing.
Mhm.
But I
Yeah, and I also learned that Trump also proposed for it to be a holiday during his term.
really
Yes.
now you know what's hilarious? I have been saying for the last 5 years that Trump is not a racist by far, right? Um, but I found this particular bill interesting, right? To make Juneteenth a federal holiday is kind of like acknowledging we fucked up and we did something wrong, but they still haven't acknowledged that they fucked up and did something wrong. I mean, hell, if we're talking about slavery, some people act like slavery never happened. And they definitely act like racism is something that we made up.
Yeah, that's definitely not the case. A lot of people were celebrating and was a lot of partying going on, and I mean, I'm happy that it's being widely acknowledged and put on paper now. However, I still feel like this is breadcrumbs to a slice of bread. Um,
Yeah.
from a loaf.
I
What we
heard white people,
slice of
I
bread
heard,
and we're getting a crumb of a slice from a loaf.
and I heard
So that
white people were wearing dashikis.
on Juneteenth,
Yes.
I don't find it. See, I appreciate those that can appreciate others' cultures,
I
as
like
long as
how
it's
you
not a
just,
mockery.
I really like how you just did that. You have just really, like, you put a new spin on what we all could perceive as any type of racism from the other nationalities choosing to dress or what people call culture vulture
Hmm.
is not another spin on it with the way you just worded it. Culture appreciation is a
Yeah,
lot better. I think that's a lot. It's wow. Now, if I look at it that way, I can look at a white person in a dashiki and say, "I like that dashiki."
I mean
Have
that.
you ever worn dashiki?
mm, I have
I have.
well,
I have
I
never worn one.
I have African clothing. Like I have cloths. I have lapas and stuff. I actually wanted to go get an outfit made recently, but I didn't go get
Okay.
it. It's expensive to get it made here in America as opposed to in Africa. Man, I'm telling you. Man,
Well,
I can't wait
I
to go back.
I could imagine that everything, so like in America is way more inflated. It's weird how it's inflated. But so like now that Juneteenth is a national holiday, it's like a federal thing. That makes does that make this the first big black holiday? And does that keep it a black holiday now that it's federal and nationally on a grand stage? Is it still a black holiday? Or is it now another pagan day?
I want to know what we're celebrating if we still feel like we're in modern day slavery. A lot of people claim that we're still in modern day slavery, blah, 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 blah. But these are the same people that are dancing and prancing around celebrating this holiday. So I'm kind of confused.
Well, I'm confused too. I thought it was supposed to be, I thought it was the signing the day that everything went through, like all the day that everybody was actually free. I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was made up from Blackish. I thought Blackish created it. Now, when I saw that episode of Blackish, speaking of Juneteenth, I thought it was one of the most amazing and creative pieces of writing that I had ever seen on Black TV. I enjoyed that episode. I actually watched it maybe 3 or 4 times that episode, right? And I said to them, I said, this is exactly what I said. I said, young, black people are going to start saying this, right? And then my wife, she has a clothing line. So I'm looking at her new designs that she's putting out for this month. And I'm looking at this one design saying Juneteenth. And I'm like, yo, you're funny as shit. That's what I said to her. I said, you're funny as shit. She said, why am I funny? I said, well, you're going to put the blackish term on your shirts. She said, you do know that this is a real thing. And I was smacked with reality. My good friend Google got me out the way. I was
Yeah.
like, wait a minute, time out, hold up, wait a minute. I know for a fact that I did good in history class. History class is like one of those really good high C, low B classes for me, you know? And I never heard anything about Juneteenth. Never,
But
never.
you heard about slavery being abolished in 1865.
I
You've
mean,
heard that term before. I know you have.
maybe.
If you went to any schools or you've heard the term, it was abolished in 1865, but we didn't hear the holiday like how you're saying it, like, ooh, Juneteenth. You're right. I get
like
you.
let me say this was crazy, right? This is where my knowledge of slavery goes and ends, right? We were brought over from Africa, and well, not we. Africans were brought over from Africa. You know, they started there. They were slaves. Then, um, then they stopped going to Africa and started going to the north and stealing them and bringing them down to the south. And that's when they got out of hand. And then Abraham Lincoln said, "No, no, no, you can't do that because y'all making too much money. Y'all becoming billionaires, and people up in the north only millionaires. That's not right." So they said, "If give them back them black folks." So they had this they got in the meeting and they said yeah okay okay cool, and then they signed the paperwork, and then it was like, wait a minute, before this paperwork get out, let's kill this guy, Abraham Lincoln. So they killed him, and then it was like, okay, we're not gonna be free, or we are gonna be free. Then it was like they are free, but certain people still had slaves. Then it was like,
Yeah.
well, you can still have slaves, you just have to pay them. So I mean, for me, and where it came down with,
Hold
where it was
on.
like,
Rewind. Can you say that again? They said
yes,
what now? You could still
you can
what?
still have slaves, you just have to pay them. So the term slavery may have been abolished, but it was just reintroduced in my eyes with the term employees. Oh shit. I didn't.
Nah, this older black lady snapped on me six, like she snapped on me because I was like, yeah, I ain't gonna be slaving or whatever, and I was talking about working, and she was like, you ain't never been a slave, don't you ever use that term. Went off, like older black lady went off on me. I was like, Okay, I don't mean like whoops slave. I mean like, working a job I don't want to work for a little bit of money. She was just like, I mean, I'm older than you and I ain't never been no slave. Don't you ever say that. She went off.
Well, like
I
it's
said,
that's
okay,
wild.
ma'am.
Okay, man, you are so respectful. I would have told her ass I was a slave and I freed myself. And you're a slave now. Like the thing about it is the term slave was really what just do, doing services that you didn't want to do and you wasn't paid for it. You know what I'm saying? Like I mean, now what about the people out there that like picking cotton? I mean, they still wasn't paid for it. So they still slaves. They work like a slave. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, when you could get paid, when they say you can get paid for it, you still work like a slave. You just got paid like one too. They had a slave rate. You know what I'm saying? And eventually, because white people needed jobs, and it was like, I'm not a slave. Well, you're asking me for money. You're gonna do
Mm,
what I say do for it. I mean, we can sit up here and fight the terms however we want to fight them. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, we all slaves to something. If and even if we fight the fact of not being a slave to it, that they have already worded it so that no matter what, we just have to be slaves in what we like doing. I mean, if you like fiddling and playing the music, get in there and be a music slave. Like get in there, make them dance. You know what I'm saying? But listen, if you want to survive in this world, you got to
I
be
was
a puppet.
I was not arguing with that lady. Like she had time that day, and we had an hour ride. I just was like, okay, ma'am. Like,
Man, this old dude walked up to me and my friend in the park, smoking our fine weed, and yelled out to us, Martin Luther King died for nothing. And we looked at each other like, bruh, what the fuck are you talking about
what does
Martin
that
Luther King
mean?
for?
Yeah,
You
I
know,
don't understand.
he was mad we had locks. He was mad we were smoking our weed. He was mad that we was enjoying the fun and the sun. He was mad that we didn't have a care in the world. You know, old people want you to always be in full blown panic mode. You know what I'm talking about? They want you always like, yeah, I got this. Oh my God, I got my kids. Oh my God, I got to take care of the world. The sky's falling. End of the world. Oh my God, girls are twerking everywhere. What the fuck is going on? Like, the whole world. They want you to be in full blown panic mode. And if you're not in full blown panic mode around old people, they hit you with the, y'all young people think everything is a game. Y'all
Mm-hmm.
young people. I hear y'all young people so much that I have to check myself out in the mirror every day to make sure I don't have like the Benjamin Button thing going on. I'm like, did I look like a teenager or a baby or something last night? Because I heard y'all young people so much, you know, especially on social media. But
Yeah.
now that we got this day, and it feels like to me it feels like now, if I'm gonna be real, it's the second black holiday because Christmas is the first black holiday because it's celebrating the birth of Jesus who was black. But I'm not gonna go into that. But but this is the first black holiday, and I think us as black people we should start expecting more holidays. What is the next black holiday that you would like to see implemented, and what time of the year does it happen?
Um, I don't really know because I don't know. I don't really divulge too much in the black.
You think maybe an Obama day is coming?
I wouldn't want. I mean, that's not something I would care to support.
Listen, I would party hard on Obama Day. I don't celebrate Martin Luther King Day.
Either.
The, the,
I mean, I'm not discounting when I
oh wait,
I'm
Martin
not
Luther King Day is a black holiday.
Malcolm X Day. Do we have a
We need a
Malcolm X
Malcolm
Day?
X Day. Nope, we got a Wiz Khalifa Day and we don't got a Malcolm X Day.
That's something I would look forward to. And
Yeah, I would fight for that.
discounting any of our leaders, like not even with Obama. Like Obama, I'm happy for his success and everything. I'm like one of those people that's like, he didn't do nothing for us. So I don't want nobody to take it to heart or whatever. I love our black
Yeah.
leaders, and it is what it is. But then I'm also African too, so you know, foreigners have a different struggle than those that are here. Like what we would say Black Americans. Like it's a complete, like it's not. I'm not gonna say it's all the way completely different, but it's different. It's a different view of what's really going on. Like so
What I
with
find
that,
so crazy, and I find that
with
so
that,
crazy.
and me being raised here, so me being raised as an American, but then also when I go home or when I'm in the house, it's a whole different mind frame in the house. So it's like I fall on this line of invisible that really doesn't even that's not even really there, because it's like, so my, like, imagine me, like I'm like this, but I'm also, when I go home, they like, what are you talking about?
But let me tell you this
I'm like,
crazy
it's
thought
hard
that just
for
popped up
us.
in my
They're
head.
like, no, just go out there and work. Like it's not hard for you, like it's a
No,
so
exactly.
they're racist. What is, like they understand racism now, Africans, um, more so now than before. Like before, to everyone, racism is, like you said earlier, they think it's this made up thing.
Yes.
Like you're making this problem for yourself. Ain't nobody making it hard for you, until they go through like some of the things that we go through.
But it's crazy because like like Africans, Chinese people, Mexicans, you know what I'm saying? They'll slave their asses off in their respective countries to get in America. Americans slave their asses off to get to their countries to get there, right? So it's interesting. Like everyone is running from the thing called racism. Everyone is running from the thing called slavery. Like I don't want to work like a slave. Like I need. We
What
can
I
go over
will
to.
know, what I will say is, when I went to Africa, and this, even when I watch African movies, like they slave each other. like their
Yes,
slaves be, it don't be like the whole white, like
I
it's
mean
not a black thing. Maybe before, but like nowadays, like like they, slave is based on your economic level. If you're poor, you're basically going to be cleaning my house and watching my gate and doing shit like that.
now listen. Let me tell you. Let me tell you. Let me take it a step further, Jezebel. Slavery is the mindset of what you're doing, right?
Mm,
Because at the end of the day, what used to be slavery is because you, if you like to build, if they wanted you to pick cotton, you had to pick cotton. You know what I'm
mm,
saying? So nowadays, like I said at the beginning, they didn't take away slavery. They said you got to pay for it. So
mm,
now, how can you escape being a slave? Doing what you love to do, right? That's the only thing that's the only thing that could change that mentality. Because at the end of the day, if I want to be an artist and I'm at work every day at, I always say Walmart or McDonald's and shit like that, but not to crap on those jobs for anyone that loves doing that, right? But if I'm doing that and every day I'm at work complaining to my coworkers, telling my family how much I really want to be an artist, I hate this job, I don't like this job, then I have made myself a slave. And at the end of the day, no matter how I pick it, how I try to narrow it down, the rules of engagement says if I'm not doing what I love to do, and I am
mm,
working for someone else to do what they love to do and making their dream happen, then I'm a slave.
mm,
So in America, in the real world, we're all forced to be slaves, and that's why they call the ones that make it out of that the elites, and the ones that go against that, they have a certain name for them people. They have a certain lane for those people, and like it's crazy because like that right there is something that I used to do all the time, walking around my job, writing. Like I told everybody, that's how I started. writing at my job, like as somebody coming in and being an artist and was like, let me use this, like chasing that dream and not fulfilling what you really want to do is what makes it weird. So it's like now we get a holiday called Juneteenth to celebrate our independence. And that is, like I said, that is pure acknowledgement that, hey, we let y'all free. We let y'all have the options to do what y'all want to do. We celebrate the day, but don't live by the code. And to know that this is 1865, that means since 1865, we have had no excuse to not chase our dreams. But what are we really afraid of? Rome wasn't built in a day, but let me tell y'all why I hate that statement. Rome wasn't built in a day. Because Rome was built in a day. There was a moment when it may not have been Rome, a war happened, blah 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 blah. That war could have took days. But once that war was over, in that precise moment, someone said, "This is Rome." Boom. And that day, Rome was built. When they started to build on Rome and make Rome what we all saw is a different story. That comes with over time. But the minute I say I'm success, I was built. I was already now I had to start building my infrastructure on me to make myself, saying stand out in a valuable land, a valuable place to be. Like everything is like that.
The
So
day you
these
put the
sayings,
stick in the mud, Rome was
yeah,
built.
just
It was
just
stamped.
like just like when the person went to the moon and said, boom, as soon as he put the stick in the moon, he said, this is the moon. We own it. We declared the moon. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it was done. Like we get stuck. These sayings get put in our head to make us look at things as obstacles. When the reality of it is, we create the obstacles.
You do.
I mean,
I learned that.
we we put them right in front of us every single day. And it's crazy because I watch more people every day that are so afraid of stepping out into the light that they miss things by standing in the dark. It's people that are like, oh, I make this. And I'm like, no, no, no. I'm not asking you how much you make because I want something from you. I'm asking you how much you make 'cause I want to help you make more. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I don't need no money from you. I need to know like if you in this realm, we can take you. I want to know. I want you to see goals. I want you to see targets. If you're making $100,000 a year, I want to help you make $200,000 a year. I don't want you to give me any part of that $100,000 a year. I make mine. I want to help you make yours, especially
Mm-hmm.
if you ain't gonna be in my circle. And believe it or not, and believe it or not, I look at everyone that even if you give me 1 second of your time, you're not in my circle. So I mean, hey.
So Juneteenth coming faster than a police reform bill or anti-hate bill for
For
black.
blacks, that bill, an anti-hate bill for blacks is never going to come.
Why, Six? How dare you shoot down their
Let
dream?
let me tell y'all why an anti-black hate bill is never going to come. Right? It goes back to origins, right? And if Chinese people, like I said, they fight their asses off to get here. Mexicans fight their asses off to get here. They build tunnels. They do whatever they got to do. Africans study their ass off, fight their ass off to get here. But Black Americans, we were born here as slaves, which is like livestock, which is like property or old equipment that you don't use anymore. It's like we're like that equipment that you guys bought in 2009 because it said it was going to make your home life so much more efficient. And then in 2015, a new one came out. and they said this is going to make your life efficient. Your 2009 model, don't use it anymore. I mean, hey, that's who we are. And they don't make bills to say protect the old stuff, protect the old equipment that we used to use. They protect bills to keep those people that fight every day to come here and spend their money and make this economy more and more powerful by leaving their citizenship and jumping over to this citizenship and all this other stuff. They're going to protect that because they don't want you calling back to China and telling your homeboy, they fucked up over here. They're beating our ass. They're fucking us up. Oh, they're going to PlayStations and iPhones. Don't send them none. Let's bug all their electronics and see how they like that. The Africans are doctors and chemists and all that good stuff. And the Mexicans, they just keep the land going. They keep attending to the land. And I mean, all the while black people are just working in it, following along with the system, and for real, are not working together in any realm. Hell, the Black Lives Matter lady was thinking about her ultimate goal, and we found out she was thinking about her end game, ultimate goals. It's like, oh, wait a minute. I thought you were in a good fight for black people. You gonna see this too? Nah, shit. I'm gonna get out as soon as I get my mini mansion and a couple of crib cars that I was looking at. Now, we ain't gonna sit up here and like majority of the black community don't think like that. I think that I'm a unicorn in this industry. I think that I'm a unicorn in life, right? I mean, I look at the next person, I automatically want to give you the keys to change your life. I'll give a person the keys to my house if they homeless, and I go look for me another place, or go stay with family while that family get on their feet, and don't nobody sit up that joint and question me on it because as a friend of mine's named Tavares. Like I gave an apartment away. Just y'all need a place to stay. Y'all homeless, you know. And y'all gotta understand something. Like being a being being a person that's looking for change without invoking that change is more ridiculous than anything. So police reform. Why would they give us police reform? I mean, listen, black people don't really want police reform. Black people love police. Black people love police. Black people just don't know if it's gonna be their family member next. That's what. Come on.
Hold on, say
It's-
that again. Black people don't what?
Black people love police. They're just worried that it's gonna be their family member next.
You know
So
what I
you
was
know,
thinking though? I was thinking now everybody they say all races kill each other more than any other race. But I was thinking in order like when they came out with the anti hate for Asians, it's because they were targeted by all like other by other races. Um with this police reform, I don't think the government's going to help protect us against the government.
well, let's really like for real, that Asian bill was not made to protect Asians because they were just getting attacked, right? It was made to protect them because they were named the source of the COVID, and that was killing millions of people. So now it's like, fuck the carry out, fuck the Jap, fuck the Yaps, all the names that people could think about to be rude and disrespectful, and was forgetting that, wait a minute, y'all, Donald Trump said this. It was crazy because everything he said, Donald Trump can't be saying nothing true. But as the minute he said the Chinese people gave us this virus, Donald Trump telling the truth, y'all. Everybody attacked them. Everybody attacked the Asian people. Like these Chinese motherfuckers bought us COVID. I tried to order an iPhone, and they told me I had to wait until the order hit 50 iPhones before they would send me mine. And that was because of COVID. And that was because everyone was attacking the Asian people, and they was making business bad for business. So If that is happening, listen to what that was happening, right? They had to wait to make money until a certain amount was done because of the attack on these people. So if that is messing with the money structure, then what's gonna happen? I mean, listen. When the last time? I mean, I don't know when the last time, but what's the one of the biggest things that we heard about if we want to change? That they made change the boycott of the buses, right?
Hmm.
The black people affected their money. Now, what was amazing is the black people didn't take their money and buy cars. They just stopped riding the bus for a couple of weeks and then got back on the bus. You
Yeah.
know, like really, really, people. We still don't say let's go buy cars like the white people. I mean, mainly because we couldn't afford them. But hey, we didn't even try. You know what I'm saying? We didn't start carpooling. Like we didn't. No black man thought let's all pitch in and buy our own bus and just drive each other around. Like so, nobody thought that, right? They still yet depended on the man to come down, to come to his senses and look at us civil, because that's all they ask for. We know black people, that's all we ask for. We've been asking for that for years. It's called the civil rights movement. Has been about just be civil. So it's like, come on. I didn't hear the Asians ask, can y'all be civil? They had a whole bill ready. Like, stop it. They said, stop it. No be civil, stop it. I, and it's like here we go again. That's so black. That's so black, right? This is a black thing to do. We see Asians get a bill that says stop it, and it happens, and then all of a sudden we got knowledge. Wait, they do bills for this? Man, they told y'all about these bills in 1950. We young, right? We young. We supposed to be on the butt end, or if not, these are supposed to be stories to us, right?
Hmm.
So they expect us to pick up this fight now, and we ain't. We ain't gonna pick up the fight because the fight we all see what the fight is. The fight is the spoils of war. The rich eat, the poor don't, right? And because black people are faster, stronger, bigger, smarter, right? I mean, these are all things that we are. We we all look at our own physical and personal strengths as opposed to white men who set up that joke. They all have a damn meeting. They all huddle up like, what did you get at, Bob? What do you get at, Tom? What do you do, Phil? Bob, Tom, and Phil like, hey, I'm an accountant. Hey, I'm a good mechanic. Hey, I'm a great engineer. All right, great. I'm good at telling you guys what to do. All right, well, listen to you, Joe. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know where we get off, but everybody's a CEO. Everybody's a CEO.
No, but that's how a lot of things get done, and we don't operate like that for some reason. I don't understand why. Like
I
those business
mean,
conversations that go on, like it's very rare that you'll sit next to a group of people and they'll really be, like now we're proposing ideas more, but that's how coming together, ultimately wins. If you
but
come
let me
to the
tell you why.
you.
Let me tell you how it's fucked up though, Judge Bill. Let me tell you how it's messed up, world. Let me tell you how it's messed up, boss. This everybody's listening on the air right now. It's taught like that when we're kids. Have you ever watched? You watch white movies, and the teacher goes, "All right, everyone in groups. Tommy with John, Joe with Lil, Phil with Phil, Martin with David." You know what I'm saying? In black schools, that's not done. You know what I'm saying? Like usually, like group projects and things like that are only done on like the high school when you're in science type stuff. You know, and then you really experience that when you go to college. You start experiencing working in groups, working with people. You know, but like we said, we watch movies, and all the movies that you watch based on school, if the school is not ghetto, you best believe, homie, it's off some white school. It's off a white school structure. When y'all watch them schools and the football team looks super lit, and the principal gives ding, 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 good morning, kids. Have a great day today, and remember, you all are special. You know what I mean? Like it's like that.
Yeah.
Like these affirmations and all these things are based off of a reality that we don't see, and that's why we call it a movie because to us it's not real, right? And we look at it like Uh, this movie shit. But this movie shit is why people have the advantages over us because this is how they move. You know what? Like it's no secret, guys. Everything that we like is based on a team. Even the sports that are solo athletes on the field or in play, you realize even in golf, he has to have a caddy. You know, and that caddy has to know something, has to be skillful in something besides just playing the damn bag. He has
Mm-hmm.
to know what this club is, what that is. And he has to know what this person uses in this situation at this time. Because all that golfer is doing is reaching his hand
Is
back,
it really
trusting his
that
hand.
deep?
Everything is that deep. Yes, it's
Oh,
really that deep. Like like nothing
I
in
didn't
this
know golf
world.
was that intense. I just thought the guy rolls up with the golf thing, comes to the field, hand him a club, and then walk about his business. I didn't know he
No,
had to know.
no. That caddy knows when. That caddy knows the grass, and he knows what hole he's going to next. He also has to be the one that keeps an eye on his ball to make sure that where it goes, it gets coined right. You know, there's a big job in the job of a caddy. Could you imagine hand like when he reach over to get a club and you hand him the 9 iron and he needs the 7 iron and he looking at you like, no, he hands it back on national TV. Like, whoa. Could you imagine him taking a swing with the wrong eye and missing a hit that cost him $100,000 because his caddy gave him the wrong club for the wrong situation?
Wow,
Oh,
I just learned
somebody's
too.
going, like everything in this world when it gets to the level of eliteness, it's based on the best team you have. A boxer is always his corner. You know, I mean, these are things that we have to understand. Like, if we're not going to choose to work as a team, then yeah, we are already choosing the slave mentality. And no matter what you do, you're choosing the slave mentality. If you say to yourself, I want to start my own company and I'm going to do my own thing, and no one's going to tell me what to do. Now, let me tell you what you're going to do working by yourself. You're going to now invest all of your man hours, especially if you're diligent. And if you quit your job and do all that shit and like really focus on your company, you're going to invest all your man hours. You're going to invest all your time in design and marketing, strategy, things like that. Before you know it, years will go by. You may have dropped a lot of projects, but you have become, buddy, a slave to your own business. You, my friend, have not allotted yourself any type of free time. No family time, no loyal time, no nothing. No nothing. Hey, listen. I'm not saying this joke. I'm throwing the word out because they just gave us a holiday that said that they ended slavery, abolished it. But I'm here to say this holiday is hilarious and it's a distraction from Father's Day. It's another distraction from Father's
So I want to ask you a question. There was a post today on DMV Hoods and News, and it's been going around. It's the post basically where the guy he shoots out the window and he says, "How I keep my rent low in my neighborhood," and then he lets off gunshots in the in the air, and basically they were talking about gentrification. So my view on that is low rent usually equals high crime. And when you're searching for places to live and to raise a family, is that something you consider?
Day. Yes. Listen, that young. I'm so glad you asked me that. When I was looking for a house in Atlanta, right? Not only did we find three houses that we love, really big houses, great houses, right? But what I did was I researched not only the crime rate in the neighborhoods, I researched the school systems in the neighborhoods. And when I
Yep.
find out that the closer you are in the city, the schools are threes, twos out of five, right? But then when you get when you get to the outskirts of Atlanta and the further down in Clayton counties and things like that, the education goes up to fours and 4.5s and things like that, right? So surely I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute now, we ain't going up to the west side, south side. We going down to the south side. And you know what I'm saying? We going down on the South Atlanta, right? It's because these are things that not only do you have to think about safety for yourself, but you have to think about safety for your family. Now, what's crazy is a lot of neighborhoods, let me rephrase that, a lot of people will look for neighborhoods for low rent. And I like to watch reality TV, right? And when I watch reality TV, I don't like to watch it for the show itself. I like to watch it to grasp the mentality of people. And I watch struggling artists. I watch struggling people, no name people become names. And I watch how they move and I watch how they acquire living, acquire things. And I ask myself, wait a minute, if this person is even looking for this, why shouldn't I be looking for this? Like I started looking at things like, all right, I used to say I want my house, my rent to stay $1,000 a month. I want to not pay no more than $1,200, right? And to me, I was like, okay, great, that's cool. You know, like these are nice places, but you definitely was hearing gunshots. Ow, you know what I'm saying? You definitely. But then I said, you know what? I'll go up to 1,600 a month like that, and I got a condo, cool condo, and I had to deal with old people every day, right? And now this is why, like, a lot of
What
people
type
like,
of old people
do I
for?
attack old people? But y'all listen, yes, I do, and I know I will be old one day. But when I get old, I will handle it my way. But old people, I don't like old people, right? For one, as a kid, I always heard when you get older, wait till you get older. You're not grown, right? Then when I became grown, it seemed that those same old people forgot that they said, wait till I get grown, right? Now, me personally, I do attack a lot of old people because I feel like that those two generations, the generation of my parents and the generation prior to my parents, my grandparents, those two generations dropped the ball as to where we were headed. And those two generations are why we're in the position that we're in right now. They expected our generation to come through and fix it. It's amazing. Our generation is the richest generation of black people that black people have ever seen. We're the wealthiest generation. We're the smartest generation. We have more business owners in this generation. And we're growing by the numbers to when we're damn near the majority in people. This generation did that. However, we get no respect from the older generation of, lack of better words, fathers who rolled out, mothers who rolled out were heads, hustlers, drug dealers, and pimps who really set back our community a whole lot, right? So now, why we why am I looked at as a thug? Not because of anything that I did, but because of something that my father and my grandfather and my uncles and my old heads did. So now I got to deal with that on my face, right? Now, isn't it amazing that everyone acknowledges the Renaissance era as the best era of black men, you know? But that era was the most free spirited era as well that was taken out by the 70s and the 80s. And why were they taken out? Because that was a powerful era and they was making men powerful. Men was running barbershops. Men was opening up stores. Men was at home with their families, buying houses, buying property. And what happened? The 70s come along and they say, hey, if we'll give you free money if you get those men out the house. And women was like, free money? Yes. Then brother started sneaking in the back door, and they was like, shoot, get the free money. But let me sneak in the back door. Then only tell them I live there. So now what that doing is taking brothers off of the point where their names on leases, so they're looking like they own stuff. Where they look like they don't acquire property. They look like they don't have anything to give to their kids because they want to stay hidden so that their women can still reap all these benefits from this system that promised to give them the benefits as long as they didn't have no male structure around. And that definitely trickled down to our parents, right? Because they look, their parents was in their ear like, look, hey, you got a baby, but don't let that man stay with you. Don't go down to the building,
Yep.
you know. And our fathers was like, shoot, they was like, shoot, my father ain't have his name on nothing. I don't need my name on nothing. It's like,
Facts.
wait a minute, wait a
Uh-huh.
minute. Where did we get this mentality from? Because they all saw the Renaissance men being assassinated, taken out, beat down, and everything like that. And their fathers was like, really? You just gonna sell the house I gave you for some damn coke? Because that's what most of them did in the 80s when they felt like it was all low. They went did the coke and whatnot. So they blame us. So that's why I have my problem with all of the old people. When I call y'all old, I'm talking about the people who have failed to accept the ideas and the way that things are now. The people who refuse to give this generation an opportunity to have their moment because honestly the reason why is getting so crazy because we're busy battling. This generation is busy battling with that generation about what is what and what's supposed to be. I mean, how many parents out there right now can attest to this? You tell your kids something because you're raising them one way, and your parent comes around and totally, totally just goes and changes the whole idea of what you said. You can get that baby that. Come on, grandma got you. Grandpa got you. They're already trying to install that same structure that they were under into your kid. Whereas you don't have to listen to me. There's always someone that's going to get you out and get you through. There's always a system in place to take care of you. But I'm here to tell y'all, that system is prison and slavery at the end of the day. Because at the end of the day, none of these things are going to make you any more illustrious or any more happier in pursuing what you want to do. The minute that I became happy in my life was the minute that I began to say, wait a minute, I don't need y'all for impressions. I'm not impressed by that anymore. Like like I used to sit up there like anybody that has been following me for a long time. I used to spam. You know what spamming is, Jezebel? I used to send shit to niggas text messages, emails, DMs, and
Oh,
inbox. The
okay.
same message over and over and over and over again for months at a time. With certain people who were like, yo, I'm taking your number on my phone. Like, stop texting me. Stop calling me. Like, stop sending me messages. Like,
Mhm.
when I would call certain people, like, we know, we're gonna be there, we're gonna be there. They still didn't show up, right? And I used to real life be pissed, furious. Like, I know you knew. What happened to you last night? That's how I spend my whole next day like that. What happened to you last night? Man, I wish you was there though. I needed you there. What's up? Where was you? Why you ain't show up on me? Man, you bullshitted on me last night. That's my whole day. But now this is how I spend my next days. when I do shows. Why you ain't tell me? I would have pulled up. Hey, I don't know. I know. Hey, you showed me that you didn't want to do come to shows. I didn't know you could now. You know. Why you ain't post it? Me posting it is not how I get paid. I'm sorry. I don't care about that anymore. Like you don't need to know about the shows. They had people there for me to entertain. All I had to do was go do my job. Like what do we care about? Like we, we have to free ourselves from. We have to liberate ourselves and set our. Like for me, I didn't have a June. My day of liberation wasn't June 19th. My day of liberation was December 31st, 2018. And that was the day, that was the time when I finished my book. And that was the day when I said, it is time to put everything that I just studied to test, to work. It is time to not keep on filling out these indeeds and these monsters and putting my resumes in and all these jobs. It is time for me to become my own job. It's time for me to get serious. It's time for me to liberate myself. And by God, I was surviving the same way my boss was, y'all. I mean, listen, my last boss was surviving at her job, and she was still there. And I was surviving at my new job, and I was no longer at my old job. So I felt like, okay, hmm, the fear is y'all can't survive. But that's what everybody fears. I can't survive. And there's too much false information out there. It's way too much false information out there, right?
Mhm.
But the best part about false information being out there, that means that there has to be true information out there. And a lot of people are not willing to take their quest, right? I mean,
Mhm.
y'all watch fairy tale movies, y'all watch warrior movies. At some point, that lad or that young gal puts on their hood and their nice little cape, and they start to walk beyond the city gates, and they start to explore, and they fight, and they survive, and they take their rights, and they learn, hey, I can survive, right? So, believe it or not, your city limits are not your walls. Your inner thoughts, heart, those are your city walls that you have to break down. A lot of people. Someone asked me, "Do you have to leave your city to make it?" And let me answer this question 1,000% honest, people. If you live in California, no. If you live in Atlanta, no. If you live in New York, no. If you live in DC, Maryland, Virginia, Baltimore, Pennsylvania, yes, you have to leave. You live in Nebraska, Nevada, Idaho, Oregon, you have to leave. Sorry. Let me tell y'all, this isn't, this isn't, this isn't X's and O's, people. Listen, you can't sit up there and say, I want to be an NFL player and expect to never leave your city. You can't say I want to be. I mean, you probably be a doctor and expect to leave your city,
You
and
could
that's if
be
you
an
find some
NFL player and
residency.
never leave your city. You just go to school.
Nah, nah, you can't. You can't. You can't because then you're limiting your chances of getting into the NFL. Because now you're saying that if you live in Washington, if you live in Atlanta, if you live in Detroit, you're saying I want to play for the Lions only, right? So that means that I'm going to bypass the draft and I'm going to walk on. I'm going to hope that out of all these people that have been doing their thing for 4 years and everyone has been paying attention to this, right? Because the NFL is not going to look at that over there for 4 years when they can look at this, right?
Hmm.
Like people that make business moves, they're looking in their particular pools from out of their window, right?
Right.
And they're like this over the window. like that all day, right? They don't
Mhm.
change their position because nothing else matters. Those other pools are not going to bring them money. Very rarely, someone that those people that look out the window all day hire, they may stumble across someone outside of the pool, right?
Mhm.
But you know what they do with that person when they find them? They
What?
push them over to the pool. They push them. They push them over to the pool. They're like, come over here. Stand right here. He'll see you. Right? That's what they say. When you stand, you gotta be standing here. He's never gonna see you way over there, man. That's what they tell them. And then first thing they say is, "Yep, I can see now. You can see me. I'm over here now. I'm making plays. I'm making moves." Listen, look, when I contemplated for years of moving to Atlanta, right?
Mhm.
It wasn't it wasn't like I hate the DMV or I don't want love living in the DMV. I love living in the DMV, right? I miss the DMV. DMV is like I want to buy a house in the DMV, you know. But I also think about things like, wow, I've sat down with every radio station in the DMV, every radio station, even internet, right? Interviews, everything. I want to say from 2018 because that's when everything was serious. Before then, anything I was doing was like a hobby because I wasn't taking it serious. So let's say 2018, I sit down with these record radio stations. I sit down with all these people, and nothing happens. Actually, I end up becoming a DJ, right? I end up like just to change this whole platform up. Like, how can we guarantee the plays? How can we guarantee? So I become my own DJ. I just start doing my own shows, start putting together my own events, right? Now, I'm in Atlanta, and this is a testament. I don't know anybody. Nobody plugs me in with people, right? Me and my friend, well, my friend, he comes down here. He has an interview at Radio. He says, "Come with me. It'll be cool." Right? I go with him. Now I'm on the radio. Now I go to a couple of other radio stations down here. I'm on the radio. Right? Now we're not sitting at the jump saying that you could. People say you could do that in the DMV. No, you couldn't have. Right? Because let me tell you. Well, yeah, you could have done that
Why
in the
not?
DMV, but you got to
It's
be willing.
different.
You got to be.
They'll
You
still
got to be
play your
willing
music.
to. No, you got to be willing to travel, right? And if you're willing to spend 10 hours on the road every day or every other day, then you really losing 10 hours that you could be working. So instead of working back and forth, you might as well just be there. Because where now, if I can set up a business meeting and be there in 30 minutes, as opposed to having to set it up for next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and whatever. Man, I
No,
call
you
the
can
radio. Never.
stay.
Yeah, but even let me tell you something. I had a label meeting with a label, and I really did want to sign this deal, right? Now I had to go through so many channels, and I scheduled it out. By the time that I had scheduled it out, of course, everything happens for a reason. But we think about things like if I was already in position, if I was already set up in the right location, then what would the conversation would have been different, right? I mean, like sometimes honestly, if a person is willing to offer you $1 million right now, and they need you in town right now for this event, and you tell them I can be there tomorrow, that ain't
I
gonna work.
think you gotta give me
And,
24 hours. Gotta give me
and
24
even
hours.
like even still, but you know, rich people want what they want, right? They want it when they want it, and they also I think it's more so about wanting to see
Well,
where you are.
would you invest 3,500 for a million? Because that's how much a seat
Yes,
on a private jet costs.
exactly. And listen, most indie artists are not sitting around with this $35,000. and 3,500, 35,000, anything in that bank. Maybe a good 2K. I'll give y'all some respect. Some of y'all may have 2K saved in your savings account. That's a good number to start with. But I'm just going to sit up there and be real. Like, no, we got to put ourselves in position to make the plays. Listen, if I
Mm-hmm.
want, I always refer to sports because I played it. If I'm about to run the ball, I don't want my running back 50 yards behind me, and I don't want him all the way on the sideline side of the wide receivers. This is a quick running play. I need you in position, buddy. Hand get this ball. I got to run all the way over there to get you there. What's the point? You know.
Yeah.
So, like, do we have to leave? What you want? Where do you want to go? I mean, listen, you can't say I want the world and expect to sit on the throne in your little castle. Even back, speaking of Rome, wasn't built in a day. Even when they were trying to acquire Rome, that king had to get on his horse and bring all of his warriors over to where he wanted Rome to be. And he had to take and fight everyone along that road, along that path to make Rome Rome. And all of y'all out there, no matter what you do, is your own little Rome. Y'all got your own little buildings that you got to build on yourself to make yourself valuable. What are you building? Yeah, I see a lot of people doing this stocks thing now.
What's up with that?
I mean, listen, young, we know what it is. It's called lazy ass. That's what I call it. It's called lazy ass itis.
Mm.
Lazy ass itis. Yes, Lazy ASREITIS. Lazy arthritis. That is a real disease, and that is a real symptom that a lot of black people suffer from. And they're sitting at home, and COVID is happening, and someone says, you can make money from your iPhone, from your Cash App, from your Robinhood, invest in these stocks. And everyone now is like, wait, y'all, I put in $30 and made 100. You know, you know how that shit works. So now everyone's a stock trader. But let me tell y'all what's hilarious about stocks, right? I still I want to see a black person say, all right, maybe I haven't done it because I don't care about these things, but I want to see a black person say, here's a stock for y'all to invest in this, and it's a black stock. Realize these are white stocks that they invest in.
Mm. I don't know. I don't get
Could
into it.
could you imagine if we put up if there was a Boss Biz radio stock online, right? You would have more white people prepared to buy your station than black people partnering up with it and buying the stock. It's again back to back to our liberation. We're not liberated. You know what I'm saying? We still depend on our sources to be the uppers,
That's true.
and 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 that stocks is like, and they say, oh wait, let's put some people on TV. Let's put some white people out here to tell them, let's put a few black people. Let's let a few black people dance, tell them about Bitcoin and shit like that, and Coinbase. You know, I mean, isn't it amazing that Nas put in his music and his latest rap song that he's Coinbase king and all this other stuff. However, there is no Nas stock or business stock that's being promoted. He didn't promote buy my stock on, um, buy my invest in
Yeah.
my business stock on Coinbase. He promoted Coinbase. Guess who paid him to do that? Coinbase. Now, what's more interesting is this: if we don't think that Coinbase paid him to drop that little tidbit, you know what I'm saying, or gave him a little bit of sponsorship money, then we're lunching. But what did all of us go out and do? We downloaded Coinbase and we started putting all our money on that app. What's interesting about Coinbase, I don't see a button on Coinbase to take your money out, but maybe there is one. You know, I just Haven't seen it. But it's interesting. These apps allow you to put your money onto them and invest in all this digital currency. And win, lose, or draw, you're at the mercy of it. And it takes months for it to invest and flip over. So it goes to show the mentality yet again. We're willing to wait months for something that's not ours to invest in and flip over. But if you tell an artist that if he invests in this show and do his show, and in 2 months he's gonna get paid, he still won't do it. Fucking interesting.
Yeah, I
That's
don't.
quite intriguing. So here is what I saw earlier on my Facebook on Obook. Mainstream touring versus indie touring. This guy said that indie tours can have a big of a payout as a mainstream tour. Now, I don't want anybody. I'm glad that we don't have a guest right here because I don't want anybody to say anything utterly crazy when I say this here. But that is bunch of bullshit.
Why you say that?
Yeah, let me tell y'all this, right? If an indie artist could make as much as a mainstream artist on tour, guess what that would be the end of? Record labels.
And when you say indie, what do you mean indie? Because aren't there a few indie mainstream artists?
So let me explain. Let me break this down to everyone. Everyone that is not structurally under three labels, and I may say these wrong, but I'm gonna go with Warner Brother, Universal, and Sony Records. These are the only three major labels. These labels hub will have other labels underneath of them. In retrospect, all of those labels are indie labels. Cash Money Records, um, QC, Def Jam, Interscope, they're all indie labels. But we need to understand something. They have major backing, right? So when an artist these days, a lot of artists are yelling indie, but they with Empire or they with something under Universal Music Group or something under Warner Music, right? So when they say they're indie, it's misleading to indie artists who lack knowledge because then they're screaming indie. I'm indie. I'm an independent artist. But y'all don't understand. Those artists, when I say backing, I need y'all to understand I'm talking about funding. Right? Right? So
Okay.
if I'm indie and I'm with Empire, no matter what, Empire is sponsoring that tour. Now, as big as that tour is, if I funded it, then you can usually tell, right? So let's take an artist that funds his own tour. It's nothing to get a tour bus, right? It's nothing to get a tour bus. Maybe 50,000 for a good month, 100,000 for a good month. All right, cool. Now we're talking about venues. Unless you have a major backing, funding, and supporters with money, you're not going to lock in the big venues. So let's talk about that artist that's doing this indie tour. You're at clubs, buddy. You're performing at clubs. You're performing at side venues, or you're opening up for headliners. Those headliners will be mainstream, buddy. And if you think that you're making more than them on that show that you're opening for them, buddy, you're tripping and you're lying. If you want to tell me that you opened up for a certain artist and you made more than him, you're lying. Now, don't get cute and don't get funny with trying to name me an artist whose label is raping them, right? because the rates do not change. Just because that artist may have made 1,500 for the show, you best believe his motherfucking label made 50,000 to 100,000, right? They did not get the short end of the stick. I'm not gonna go into details about how, why, what, because y'all wouldn't understand that. That's a whole nother show. But like I told y'all, everything in this world when it comes to music is
What the hell? Is that my internet? What happened?
they shut me down. I mean I'm cutting up. I mean I'm cutting up. They shut
I
me
never
down.
believed that YouTube be doing that, yo. I didn't know that they really be like this girl. Well, this lady, Lovely T, she's always snapping saying YouTube be acting up. They be cutting her shit too, and I thought she was tripping, but gotta let her know.
Nah, listen, y'all. Let me tell you something. Listen, after every show, every Monday at about 8 o'clock, I get a phone call. You told them too much today. You're talking too much, right? And I always say, well, thank you. You know, I try to tell y'all, I try to tell y'all too much, but I can't tell you everything because, like I said, y'all wouldn't understand it, and it'd just be me and Jezebel on here talking to y'all for hours, and y'all faces would be like, but this is a business, right? This industry is a business, and everybody has to eat. There's a position called talent buyers that people don't even know about. And these talent buyers buy talent. I mean, it's just pretty much like that. And a lot of these videos, all of these videos, it's all about licensing. It's all about what you have to pay monthly to have entertainment. So y'all think that these big stadiums ain't up this joint? They reaching out to promoters in their city. They reaching out to known talent buyers and things like that that they know and they work with, and they working out deals. And they say, look, we got 100K, we got 300K, we got 400K, blah blah blah, whatever. What can y'all do with that budget, right? Because that word budget is always a thing. It says, hey, for that budget, we can book such and such, such and such, such and such, or we can book you that artist and he can bring such and such, such and such, such and such. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like the Migos used to get 3 million, right? They used to get 3 million, but they was only saying 50,000 a piece.
Each.
Now, yeah, each. Now they see $3 million. Now they see $1 million a show each. So how much do you think that the label is getting now from when they pop? But the
I mean, a
reality
lot
of it is,
more than that.
I mean, yeah, but like, the reality of it is, do you care as an artist? Like, let's just be real. Even if you walked out on a show, because real tours, I'm gonna tell you, real tours last. They have a start date and an end date, right?
Mm-hmm.
So within that time frame, they have a certain amount of money that you're supposed to get paid for this tour. Now, if you're doing one of those promo tours, don't look at me. Don't look at me if you ain't getting paid when you leave the show. But you should be getting paid for your royalties on your back end because you got your PRO, your performance rights. You registered all your shows like Ross. But don't look at me if you're not being paid during the show because you have to show that you earned the draw, right? So that's why I say real tours are not on the promo level. Those promo tours will give you a good idea of what it's like to perform on a nightly basis in front of people, right? It will get you the idea of being on the road. It will get you the idea of seeing if you can sustain and be in front of people every different night in different cities. But those are not real tours. Real tours happen when you have like I said, a start date, an end date. There's itineraries. There's press involved. There's also distribution involved. You know, there's rehearsal times. There's venues. You know, like real venues. sound checks where you're working. You know what I'm saying? Like you're really a
Yeah.
job. Like it's not you putting up into the city, lounging in the hotel all day on your IG and telling your friends, I got a show tonight. Make sure y'all pull up when you know damn well you don't know nobody in the city and nobody knows you, but you on your IG. Like I'm in the city tonight. Pull up. Like what? You know what I'm saying? Like come on now, nah, that's not a real tour. A real tour, we're gonna see you backstage, working your ass off. We're gonna see you practicing, getting your shit together for that set. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna see we may see some choreography. I may see you bust some motherfucking
But
moves.
why isn't the other one a real tour if you still? I mean, so you're saying that indie artists can never make as much as a mainstream artist touring?
Let me do my thing I do. No, they cannot as much as a mainstream artist until they become a mainstream artist. And let me tell y'all, listen, I don't like it. I'm an indie artist, right? I don't like it. It's disgusting. It sucks. But guess what? When those phone calls get made, and those motherfuckers, even if you're the hottest in your city, right? Even if you're the hottest in your city, and let's say, give me a big arena in the city. I don't know any city. Like let's say you come down here and someone is performing at the Mercedes Stadium or the Hawk Stadium, right? One of those joints like that, or the Wizard Stadium down there, right? It's a tour happening, and you're the biggest in the city. Someone may call you and say, "Hey, you trying to get on this show?" Someone may even say, "I'll pay you $1,000 to come out and bring all your people out, whatever." You know what I'm saying? Whatever, because you got to draw. But do you think that they're about to be with your narrow ass? Come get on all 30 days? No, because guess what? You didn't put in on none of the marketing for that tool. You didn't put in on none of the travel for that tool, moving for that tool, and because you didn't put in on none of that stuff, a slot ain't even guaranteed for you on that tool. So if you hop on the bus, you just on the fucking bus. Okay. Congratulations. You know what I'm saying? Let's all clap it up for that guy that got on the bus. But this stuff means nothing. Because guess what? What any artists do not understand is you have to make yourself valuable, right? And it's just like why every single artist geeks for that little blue check on Instagram. Well, what do you think a record label is? A record deal is? That's the biggest fucking blue check you could ever get.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, listen, I hate when people name to me artists that are indie now, right? I hate when they be like, what about someone said, what about Tech Nine? Right? As if that's a good person to throw up there in the goddamn example rankings. But let's use Tech Nine. Where would he be without Interscope Records? Where would he be without Warner Records? Y'all really think that you would give a damn about Strange Records if it wasn't for those labels putting Tech Nine in position first? I mean, we can play this game all day long, and like I tell everybody, I can't be nice when it comes to this because the power of the tongue, what you put out there. If you don't want to play mainstream, then don't say I want to be paid mainstream. You can't get that, right? That's like me saying I want to get paid like a doctor, but I want to be a CNA.
That doesn't
and
work.
and then for me to argue it down with people that want to be CNAs and or doctors and tell people that want to be doctors, I can make as much as you as a CNA. I make as much as you as a CNA doc. Really? You work for me. I'll tell any indie artist this. Any indie artist that goes on tour, you are a worker of the tour. As a worker of the tour, how can you make money? More money than the tour itself. And if you are an artist with no name, and you say you have no name because I'm not going to say that about yourself. I know your status and where you've been and your analytics. But if you are an artist with no name, what's a tour? Who's looking for you?
What do you mean? They're followers.
Who's look? I already tell like okay. So this is what I try to tell everyone. Right? Followers are created. I say this over and over again. Right? Listen. Why do y'all think that Megan Thee Stallion fought so hard when she was a superstar to get with Rock Nation and get out of that deal with Carl and them at that label she was with? Now that's a label. And 300 is a major label. You know, it's not a major indie label, but they're a major label. Well, why do you think she fought so hard to get the Rock Nation deal? I'll tell you why. Because it's about accolades. No matter how big Megan Thee Stallion is, you get bigger when certain people tell people that you're bigger. Companies like Live Nation, Rock Nation, AEG, these companies are set up, right? And they're partnerships with the majors. So you know why they're partnered up with the majors is because when they say we are about to put all these pop kids, all these crazy fanatic pop kids in the building tonight, we need y'all to send us over your pop artists. We're about to put all these rap kids in the building tonight. We need y'all to send us your rap artists. Do you think that they are calling around to fucking such and such ENT LLC and fucking Boomhauer Music Block on the Road to fucking figure out who the next hot artist is? No, because their analytics are already telling them who the next hot artist is, right? And that person is on the fucking radio. Every time they change the goddamn station, he on the goddamn radio. That person is the person that their kids. And y'all think their kids are black, you tripping. But their kids won't tell them, Daddy, look at this YouTube. Mommy, look at this YouTube. Look at this person on YouTube. That's the person those are the people that they're like, wow, this person got 1 million views. And if y'all think a little kid is looking at your video with 60 views, he's not. That even a kid of 2 knows I don't want to see no damn video with 60 views. My daughter looks at videos and she looks at the views and she's like two and a half, something like that, right? And she look at the views like, no, 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 daddy, no, no one watches that. She swipes it. So if y'all think it like these are things, and like so when y'all and when people ask, what's marketing for? What's promo for? Or why do I gotta make that look like that? Well, dummy, because the people that's looking, if it don't look like that, they don't care. How many hot ass, how many hot ass artists just get old? They be like, I'm on tour, and then it's like the tour's over, and you see them back in the smock, and it's like, hey, I get it, you are super, you are super perfect. You don't want to sign your name on a dotted line, but you want to move like a mainstream artist, but you don't want to be mainstream. But yet you're out here trying to give the illusion that mainstream artists can or indie artists can live like mainstream artists. Well, I'm here to tell y'all if you talking about just paying your bills and living happy off your music, yes, you can do that. But if you're talking about being able to pull out the show and buy a Bugatti and pull up to your mansion with the pool in the back, the house worth $10 million and all that goofy shit, then no, no, sir, you cannot do that. This and listen, and look, I said earlier on my Facebook, I said the artists that try that are the artists that end up in jail for a long time because that's a game that you just can't play. You can't look mainstream without being mainstream because the minute that you play around, reality hits you hard like a tsunami.
But you don't think an indie artist can tour and make as much, I mean, and then, you know, attain as much following to get paid like a mainstream artist eventually?
Yes, once they become mainstream, like that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Listen, like my thing is this isn't just a theory. It's a proven fact, right? Because if that was the case, like I said, there would be no more record labels. Record labels would have been broken down. People would have been said, "I don't need to jail. I'm on tour. I make more than him. I make as much as he do." Right? Listen. If it was that easy if it was that easy for any artist to do it, can you imagine all the shows that would be? Everybody would be dancing and jigging around this mother with the hat, like, singing bad as hell, rapping bad as hell, and doing it all. You know what I'm saying? There would be people everywhere performing every night. No one would get no one would get up and go to work because what's a tour? If they're trying to tell me a tour is just a series of shows, then what's a tour, right? Then hey, what, listen. Oh my God, I'm gonna tell you like this, right? He did not do on the mainstream level. You may survive, yes. You may be able to quit your job, pay your rent. I mean, I do. I got a four-bedroom house. I got a brand new 2020 car. You know what I'm saying? Life is good. All on music, right? That's not bragging. That's me telling y'all, like, yeah, you can do that, right? But let's just be real. It ain't no man. I can't go out here. I can't go buy a Bugatti. I can't get a goddamn. I wasn't able to get the 2020 Mercedes AMG that I wanted. I had to get the Buick Enclave. You know, it's still nice, but I had to get it. You know, I had to think about the fact it's cool, right?
Yeah.
Maturity. But let me tell y'all, once I'm doing the mainstream, I'm gonna buy. I'm gonna get a Bugatti just because you can. Just because you can. Right? We do things just because we can. When we do that. So like it's this game. Like this game is a you and soon. Oh, you can soon. Listen, yeah, soon. We all can sing, right? We all can sing. And like that's our and we have to work for those things. Could you imagine me saying I want a Bugatti and then being a janitor or a construction worker or something?
That's attainable still.
Yeah, it's in 20 years and you gotta spend none of your checks. Now you
You
gotta
know,
be the
the average
construction. No,
person sees a
no,
million
you have to
dollars
be
throughout their lifetime.
you have to be the construction worker. You have to own the construction company to get a Bugatti.
No, the average person makes $1 million throughout within a lifetime, so it's
I can
attainable.
believe that, but I can believe that because listen, this is my theory. This is theory, but it takes $1 million to live a lifetime, right? But guess what, Jezebel? The average person will never touch $1 million at one time.
I didn't ask you
You,
all that.
you realize you said a lifetime they make $1 million. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, I didn't ask you what
it,
they gonna touch though. Like you gotta get
so
all specific.
in this world it's crazy. It gets trippy like that. Like it gets trippy like that. Like I would just be like so missed if I stood up there and just like played along with that, right? And like I sat online and I looked at them say that, and I was like, wow, they're really taking it to the max with this comment. Now, why why can't indie artists? Why can't indie artists? tour. Let's just get to the real nitty gritty. Why can't indie artists tour? Because where's the money? You
That's
will have to
why
spend. You
they
will spend
have to
about
hustle
two.
and earn the money to put into their tour, put into
That would
themselves.
take about 2 to 3 years.
No, take them about a few months.
No. How much you
Look,
think they will
if
make a night? How much you think they can bring in a night with a no name artist going from city to city trying to get club venues? He's going to have to, in order to make money, he's going to have to do a showcase, rapper showcase style event, right? That is a dead end because he's not acquiring fans. He's acquiring people who thinks that he's another beacon to get them where they need to be. So however long he chooses to take that path is a setback. Even if he performs for those guys and someone decides to record it, he got to get genuine reactions and people have to genuinely like him, especially as artists, right? For him to come out of that platform to eventually make it to shows where he's now performing for buying fans. People who is paying tickets to see him perform. Now,
mhm.
once that happens, he has to acquire those same fans to want to buy his merchandise, right? Because a lot of the shows is not just show money, it's merchandise money, right? So now he has to get them to want to buy his merchandise. So that is already, we're talking about time. You ain't gonna do 1 or 2 shows. And if you travel in city to city and you are a no name, then you can't hit that city once. You gotta do it at least 3 or 4 times before your name is even buzzing. You know what I'm saying? Like, so those are not lucrative. Even if you're bringing in 1,500, you may have to pay a team. So you probably bring in about 700 a night, 800 a night. And let's say you are playing 1,000. Let me just give you the benefit of the doubt that you're playing 1,000. Okay? All the while, your counterpart, who's a mainstream artist, just got on stage and he just cleared 10,000. And all he had to do was show up. He didn't have to get all these people in the building, these rappers in the building, all these. He didn't have to work his merchandise table. He didn't have to find his homeboys to work for him and things like that, right? Because the venue provides staff, everything. Everything was done. So now, like I said, that artist just made 1,000, and now that indie artist, now has to take care of the people and take care of him. So how much he gonna break down his people out of that 1,000? You gonna get him $100, $10,
Why
$20.
you
Thanks for
make
coming
it
with me.
sound so hard?
Nah, look, I'm telling you, look, this is gonna do. He gonna get all $20, $40. Thanks for coming with me. And then he gonna call him next month, like, yeah, I gotta go such and such. Y'all trying to go? And they go like, I can't do it this time. So now he's starting to be
Mm-mm.
by himself. He gets discouraged, and what does he do? He starts tagging online. Help me, so nobody fuck with me. I need real team. I need a real squad. I need people that take me serious. He just spent a whole another 2 years doing that. And 9 times out of 10, if he's begging like that, he still ain't taking his time to learn the business. So what does he do? He takes the first deal that he signs with some corny label who's on Instagram and old book talking about their label. So now he signed a deal, and now he's sitting there like, I gotta find a job. I gotta find a job now because I'm signed, y'all. Though I'm signed, but I gotta find a job because I'm trying to go on tour. Well, you big dummy,
But
how
what's
you
wrong
going?
with working to support your dream?
How
As
you
you
gonna
went
go on tour? How would you go on tour if you supposed to be at work?
you do contract work.
So how you gonna work?
You work real hard for a month and then you go, or you work real hard for 3 months and then you go on tour for 3 months.
So you take a month off from doing music and staying relevant. So how do you become relevant?
You still work on your music while you work.
How do you do that and be efficient at work and efficient at music? Like these are questions that I ask every
I'm
artist.
not an
How?
artist. I don't know. You tell me. I'm trying to
Let me
figure it
tell
out.
y'all. Is it any coincidence that all the superstars started when they were kids?
Mm, yeah.
Because you cannot work a full time job and manifest your career. Because let me tell y'all, let me tell y'all what happens when you work a job, right? When you work a job, you realize then you can acquire things. You acquire those things, you continue working to not lose those things. And if you like acquiring things, then you work extra hard to acquire more things. And usually you're going to focus on the thing that allows you to acquire those things. I haven't seen that one person. Listen, I had a friend of mine. We was in a rap group. We were on tour, and I'm talking about a real tour, right? We were on the Cricket Wireless Move Music Tour, and we was making pretty decent money on tour, and it was a real good tour, and everybody was doing their thing. Shows was every weekend, pretty much damn near every weekend, and then we would have spot shows during the week, right? So that was really good, really cool. Traveled all up and down the East Coast, pretty much, right? Wherever Cricket Wireless was. So what ends up happening is my friend gets a call one day. We're in the studio, and he gets a call. And he's like, "Yes, I got the job." I said, "Whoa, congratulations for what job?" You know what I'm saying? He said, "Man, they about to pay me $160,000 a year, right?" I said, "What?" Now at the time, this 2013, right? 2012. I'm like, damn, 160K, cuz. We all live for this nigga, you know what I'm saying? Look, session stopped, Jay got rolled up, bottles started getting popped, no more music got made. From that day,
He
that
quit
was
music.
20. He didn't quit music, he started working. He hit me every once in a blue light, man. I'm still trying to put out that music. But I mean, that was 2012.
I mean, but it's the money good though. It was worth it.
Hey, listen. I'm proud of my man. My man got two houses in the DMV area. He got a house in Puerto Rico, house in the Dominican Republic, and his salary has more than tripled since 2012. So he's lit. You know what I'm saying? He's now he's turned that hustle mentality into his own clothing company. Although he still does the job that he was doing. You know what I'm saying? He still does that job. That's his job. But
Hmm.
the reality of it is, like I said, like the invest in yourself theory does not work when you gather the money from employment, right? The reason the
Why
reason
do you
why.
keep saying that?
Now listen. Look, let me tell you what happens. Let me tell you what happens. You work 2 weeks to get paid, right? In that 2 week time, bills catch up, life happens, right? In that 2 weeks time, you go without things. So now we're talking about a person who has to be willing to work and still go without for months, right? To see these things happen. And a lot of artists are not willing to do that, be patient when they get past a certain age. Now, you may find an artist living in the house with his mom, living in the house with his girl and shit like that, and things of that nature, and whatever the case may be. But nine times out of 10, that person's counterpart that they're staying with is not even allowing them. They're calling that dream some bullshit, right? It's like, nah, you saving your money for a video? Nah, ain't no saving your money for no video. We need to electric. We need rent. We need mortgage. So let's say you sacrifice it all. So now let's say you say, all right. Bills is I'm gonna take half, pay the bills, and I'm gonna put half aside so I can shoot my video next week. Right? What you have just said is my fans are not important because fans are the ones that really pay your bills and the ones that really take care of you. But you said my fans are not important.
It's called
This big,
sacrifice.
this, and that's. I'm glad you said that, Jezebel, because the sacrifice happens long before the record deal. The sacrifice is those nights going without. The sacrifice is those nights not being able to see your family. Is those times when you feel like everything is on you, right? That's the time. That's the sacrifices. I mean, this is not just music. This is real life. Everything that we do. The people that make the sacrifices, we end up calling them boss. The people that don't, we end up calling employees. It's just plain and simple. Or bums. Like, come on. This guy, like, I'm not sitting up this joint and saying you cannot work full time, but I am saying you cannot work full time and be a full time artist. I am saying that you cannot be indie and have an indie mindset but want mainstream results. You know, so like you have to move as mainstream people move. I mean, listen, if you got a job, if let's say you got a job and they call you in for a meeting with a record label, and they may give you a deal, right? But it's always a may give you a deal. They want to see what you got. They want to talk to you, meet with you. But you got to work. You got to work. Your job says you, hey, if you don't come in tonight, you done. That's a sacrifice. Look,
This
that's a sacrifice, not deuces. So now you have definitely walked off the job, went to Def Jam, did your meeting, didn't get the deal. Now you have no job and no deal. That's when you test it. That's when the artist is tested. What you gonna do?
man, fuck this music shit.
That's what they say. Listen, that's the first thing they say. Because the only reason that they even went to the deal is because they were prepared to leave the job. They wanted to leave the job anyway, so they can use I got fired for whatever reason. You know, but they definitely gonna be back on Indeed Monday morning, and that rap shit is done. So so like honestly, people, I'm just telling y'all, young, we at a real pivotal point in life right now, in our careers, in our lives, where we have an opportunity to really be on top, and we got to watch out for all the people who are going to come out and pretty much pry on what I call your ignorance and lack of willing to go and get the knowledge that is needed. These people are going to pry on that because while you guys were sitting around for a year planning on how to make your careers to the next level when all this stuff is over, they were sitting around saying, wow, these all these artists are popping up and none of them know what's good. Let's get them. Let's start these fake things and acquire their real money to do things that we want to do. And what's most amazing is my only request to all of you is get your knowledge, chase your dreams, do what you love to do, and build yourself with some value. Because the reality of it is, if you don't have value in yourself, don't want value in yourself, then nothing I'm saying even matters. I'm just like, just look at me like, blah, 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 blah. The guy making crazy faces on YouTube. Blah, 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 blah. Just look at me like that. But if you do, look at yourself when you say, look, I don't care if you want to be a hairstylist. Like, lady, if you want to do hair, like it, stop going to work, set up that shop. You ain't got a shop, set up that house. If you don't trust your clients, don't work with
So
them.
you're a hard believer that it's impossible to work and chase your dream
I'm
if
a,
your job is not your dream.
I'm a firm believer in it. And like the thing is, you can't you can't make somebody else's dreams happen and yours happen at the same time. I mean, if my dreams is to have a shirt company, I can't sit there all day long selling Gap shirts and helping people buy Gap all day long. I mean, just because I love selling shirts, but my dream is to sell my own shirts, sell my own designs. So I mean, if you like selling your designs for Gap, figure out how to get on the design team for Gap. Like work your ass off to get up there. You know what I'm saying? Because that can be your dream. But
Yeah.
if your dream is, sorry, again, like I said, if your dream is to be a doctor, if your dream is to be a lawyer, and you sitting at Walmart and not in law school, then you're tripping. You never want to be a lawyer. I mean, like we can all make that affirmation. I mean, we're not talking, and I gotta tell y'all, when I talk about the music business, we're not talking about this as college, right? Because the music business is not college. Like college, and if you can work yourself through college while you're becoming a lawyer, you can go to work, right? But at the end of the day, guess what happens? If you don't put in them hours in college, you fell out and you don't become a lawyer, right? So, and those hours, what people don't understand is someone pays for them. You get a scholarship for someone
Okay.
else to pay for it, or you pay for it. But that time is being paid, and that is an investment that they make in themselves to be where you want to be, but won't go, which is ridiculous. Sounds like it's like no, you can't work at something else to make someone else's dreams happen and think that you're going to acquire your dreams. No, you cannot. And anybody out there, I would love for you to come to me and challenge me with someone you know or someone you heard of or someone you met. Because then my question to you is going to be then why not you? Because don't tell me my brother, my cousin, my man's is doing it and successful and you not successful. Because y'all do know birds of a feather flock together. You're only as strong as your circle's weakest link. So if you're telling me that you're a bum, you're not in that circle. And if I can look at you and see that you're not moving and you're not productive, I already know you're not in a productive circle. You're just one that talks about it. Because guess what? A productive person is not going to be around someone unproductive. People like people, and it's crazy because anyone that wants to look at me like I'm a fool, I already said every week, I love you guys. And I don't care. You know, challenge me on it. Prove to me with results of another or yourself. Until then, be a living example because I'm only telling y'all what I've seen happen for myself. Right? I only share y'all my experiences, and that's what I do. Even things that I just joke about. You know what I'm saying? Like even my jokes are some seriousness in them. It's like, hey, you can be a slave all you want to, mhm. But at the end of the day, just do what you love doing. You know what I'm saying? We all slaves. We all we all we all we all have not been liberated. Our Juneteenth has not happened yet. We're still waiting for it, and y'all all
You
have to
can't
acknowledge.
these people Juneteenth like that.
Hey, they pulling the wolves over our eyes to let us know that we liberated. but yet we are refusing to
Object.
move with liberation,
Mm.
which is interesting. But yet
Mm.
we are accepting to challenge and argue those who fight for their liberation, which is amazing. So, Jezebel, what you got coming up?
Wait, you not gonna skip over Orlando?
I gotta skip over Orlando. Well, I guess I don't have to because the boss said we're gonna go over a little bit. But huff, 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 for the post time, y'all. My stuff is huff, had enough, and don't want no more. So a friend of mine, he calls me up a couple weeks ago. He says he's in Orlando. He's coming up and he got some bud and he wants me to try. And I'm like, hey, I definitely want to try some bud from Orlando because the last time I was in Orlando, I waited 2 days for some red haze that never showed up. Eventually, I got sick and tired and I rolled out. I left Orlando in disgust. I took a 14-hour ride home and I got this call a couple of weeks ago and I was like, you know what? Surely this is my chance for Orlando to redeem itself. So sure, I got open and I started to break it down and I was like, wait a minute, this already looks bad. You know, this is already looking bad. But like I said, the Bible says we cannot turn our nose up at one man's weed. Indeed. So I did not. I proceeded to roll it up. Now I know he used a sheet and he double rolled it. But guys, let me tell y'all one thing and one thing only. Orlando, I see why y'all got Mickey and a bunch of goofies down there because the weed is horrible. It belongs in a Disney type area. I see why Disney characters are refusing to go with weed and choosing other things. I mean, y'all got the worst shit. That shit was worse than Jamaica shit. You know what I'm saying? And Jamaica shit is
It's
horrible.
bad.
Like Jamaica has the worst weed in the ecosystem, but they love it. But you people in Orlando, now I'm starting to see why you Florida boys walk around so angry. Now, if I was y'all, I would research with some of my good old people in that sunny state of California and ask them how are they using that good sun and that good rain. Maybe y'all can't do it because y'all live on the ocean. Maybe y'all need to try some hydro stuff. Maybe y'all just need to stick with y'all stuff down there in Orlando and the Florida area, the hard stuff. But what I do know is I won't be waiting for weed from Orlando no more because that stuff is tough. You was on notice, but I waited for years to do this. And then I finally got some, and it wasn't right. So, Orlando, Florida, until
Mm.
you do better, you won't notice. If anyone in the Orlando, Florida area wants to redeem Orlando, you know how to hit me. Inbox me at Rolling with Success, and I will gladly take a couple of J's. A 3.5 is a good sample amount, but I usually like a bigger something. But if it's tough, just keep it because I've had enough of that stuff. Case closed on Orlando.
Damn, Orlando. I actually came across some good shit when I was out there.
I keep
Um,
telling you, you don't count. Women do not listen. Listen, women. Okay, not all women, right? But you don't count, and women of your stature do not count because like ugly women, they go down in Orlando. They make like I seen they gave Summer Walker some oregano in Miami, but I blamed London on the track for that. You know what I'm saying? He's supposed to set his girl up straight when she came to the city. But
she's
listen.
different.
I'm trying to tell you, my wife's cousin, she tried to put me with some weed in North Carolina. Ugh, ugh. I fight in North Carolina weed, man. Y'all me some weed. I I'm ready to put my dukes up. I'm ready to put up my dukes. Anybody in North Carolina offer me some weed.
Ooh.
And North Carolina got fake weed, y'all. So y'all be careful with that. They got fake weed in this place. So y'all be careful out there in North Carolina if y'all in the area. So, Jezebel, you already know what time it is. What you got coming up this week?
Um, this week is just another lit weekend. I've been really, really. working on some things, y'all. Just stay tuned for what's coming up. Just promo. That's pretty much it. Waiting for you to get up here. Then of course it's a showcase I got coming up after that. So we'll talk more about that next week, though.
Yeah, y'all, we gonna hang. I will be in the DMV area next week. Like shit, getting ready for that So Six concert album release party. For all the artists that have been hitting me up, asking me for slaps, I do diligently apologize. But this is not a showcase. This is a concert. I have selected a few artists to perform for it, but y'all are more than welcome to come out and show support for your boy. Y'all never want to just come out. Y'all always want to just hit the stage, and that's not cool. One thing that I've learned, and if y'all, I was all y'all artists. One show y'all need to watch is those loving hip hop shows and grown up hip hop shows, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
it's about culture that y'all need to understand. A lot of which, if y'all watch those shows, y'all take from it is all of them pop out and all of them support each other. Even if it's just one on the stage, they all support each other. And you got to
Mm-hmm.
realize something in this industry is all about support. It's all about having people's back, and it's all about showing yourself in numbers. You can't
Mm-hmm.
always be the star. Sometimes you have to shine your light on other people so that you can shine bright. All right. Now, with that being said, at this time, y'all should be looking at your roaches, flicking off your ashes and putting them in the ashtray, and getting ready to roll another one. Cause I know I am, and we out.
Peace, y'all.